Good Saturday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to this week's episode of What Every Cruiser Wants. And we are doing something special today. We are doing a best of video. We are doing a top 10 video. Now, we've been doing What Every Cruiser Wants for a long time. We've gone through hundreds and hundreds of different comments. So I went all the way back to the beginning, episode number 1. Went through 25 episodes of the show and pulled out a top 10 list. Now, these are not your regular comments. These aren't your, the music is too loud in the dining room. There aren't any, I wasn't compensated because we missed a port for weather. No, none of those regular kinds of comments. I picked out the 10 wackiest comments I could find. The comments where they just asked for the weirdest thing, the craziest thing that you could think of. So we're gonna count them down from 10 to number 1. Gonna start you off easy and work into what I think is one of the funniest comments we had, at least in the first 25 episodes of this show. So here we go with number 10, and we're gonna start off with bringing prohibited items on board cruise ships. Some of the things that people try to bring on cruise ships, it's just crazy. I know you are flying to Miami and probably won't see this message. I'm very upset and angry. Nowhere on the prohibited list that you guys have on your website does it say I cannot bring a blender. Yet here I am, being scolded like a child by Carnival security. I'm told it's confiscated. It's not on your prohibited item list. All I wanted to do was make a smoothie in the morning, as it's virtually impossible to eat healthy at breakfast on cruises. This is not my first rodeo. You need to better inform your passengers so they don't end up in the naughty room. I have this very same problem every cruise. I am packing for my cruise and I'm putting stuff in my suitcase. I put in my socks. I put in my underwear. I put in my formal clothes. I put in my bathing suit. And then I run into the kitchen and grab my blender. Because who doesn't go on a cruise without a blender? And then they go on to say, but it's not my first rodeo. Look, if you've been on multiple cruises, does somebody really need to tell you that you're not supposed to bring your household appliances? Now, number 9, still keeping with the same thing. We're still going to talk about the crazy things people want to bring on cruise ships, because blenders is not the craziest. Just take a look at this comment. Why is it that my PVP told me I could not bring my Roomba on the cruise? We have the Excel suite booked on the Mardi Gras. I am a germaphobe. I must have the carpeted areas clean at all times. This really concerns me if you are short of workers. Same response. How many times am I packing just realizing I forgot to pack my Roomba? And just like household appliances, no, you cannot bring your vacuum on the cruise ship either. Now on to number 8 and a question. Do most people put the beds together in their cabin, or do they keep the beds separated? And according to this comment, even married people want the beds separated. They don't want them together. And this is an example of the majority of people want it exactly this way. And I kind of wonder, is that really true? I know that it is simple enough to ask your stateroom attendant to separate the beds once on board, but it's such a hassle trying to find him. We have been discussing this on the Blank, which has over 5,000 members. The majority of all want the bed separated. Yes, even the married people. That's because the gap in the middle, it's uncomfortable. So can Carnival have the beds separated, as that is what most people seem to want, rather than to have to hunt down the steward? So most people want the beds apart? I don't know that that's necessarily true. We've never wanted to have the beds apart, but maybe we're in the minority. But you don't have to hunt down a room steward. You don't have to chase him down. It's not a hassle. It's actually one of the questions when you book your cruise. What configuration do you want your bed in? I would say, I don't know, pay a little more attention to the booking process. Number 7, and another example of nobody does this, nobody wants this, yet I know for a fact that isn't a true statement. I believe the refrigerator in the rooms are taking up unnecessary space. It will be better to have an extra place for things like a shoe rack. Nobody uses the refrigerators. A shoe rack would be a much better option in that space, or if not, some kind of shelving. So all the refrigerators on the cruise ship should be pulled out. Nobody keeps their drinks cold. Nobody uses them to put their medicine in. Nobody keeps snacks in them. Everybody is wandering around their cabin holding extra pair of shoes, just hoping that refrigerator disappears so that's where they can put them. Now, how many people really think that is true? How many people believe that nobody uses refrigerators on board cruise ships? Number 6, let's talk about those special cruise passengers, those that walk around with their nose high in the air. You know, they're above everybody else. The ones that look down upon crew members in particular, ones that believe crew members, well, they should be taught American etiquette. I think it's time for Carnival to teach their crew about American social etiquette, which is very important for some. My father was a college professor, and heaven help us if we ever called an adult by his or her first name. Even if invited to do so, I will probably always refer to people as sir, ma'am, Mr., Mrs., or Miss, and I'm pretty sure the more upmarket cruise lines have higher standards regarding how to address customers. Why is there an option to not be called by one's first name other than by not cruising? Being addressed by a first name by someone serving you a cocktail or food is just plain wrong. Many will, I am sure, say nothing but consider this to be plain rude. Think on this. So it is just plain rude for someone who serves you a drink or serves you some food to address you in any other way than with pure formality. Sir, your beverage has arrived. I understand that crew members are on the cruise ships. They're working. They are there to take care of you. But they're not your servants. They're not your slaves. They're people just like you and me. Now, I was brought up a certain way. I was also in the military. I still call everybody, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That is me. But when a crew member addresses me, they always call me Mr. Chris. That's what they call me. And you know what? I'm really impressed. They can actually remember my name. All those passengers on board the ship, they change cruise after cruise after cruise. And this crew member and that crew member have taken the time to know my name is Chris. You know what? I'm impressed that they can remember my name at all, much less the fact that they need to call me sir just because they are serving me a drink. All right, we are halfway through the list. It is time to get into some really good ones. It is time to get into the top 5, and we are going to start off number 5 with this particular doozy right here. From someone who didn't get to watch on the big screen, on the TVs on the ship, exactly what they wanted to watch. Now, they swear all Americans wanted to watch it. They even took time out of their cruise to try to get signatures on a petition to make them play this up on the TV. Addressing the fact that I am on Carnival and the passengers are not getting to watch the trial of Amber Heard and Depp. This is one of the biggest TV events in America. I have obtained over 100 signatures from other passengers. I was told rudely that this would not be broadcast. Why do we only have children's movies on the ship that caters to adults as well as just beyond me? I asked the cruise director. I wrote a note to the captain telling them about how many signatures I have. I was told no. We should have a place where this is shown, in a bar maybe, and where we can all watch this. If Carnival is America's cruise line, why is what the whole of America is watching not on the boat? Everybody would be watching. Carnival dropped the ball. I remember when this trial was playing and it was on TV. I can honestly say, apparently I am not everyone, because I ignored every minute of it. So was the whole of America other than me watching it? Would everybody on the cruise ship be watching it other than me? And if everybody on the ship wanted to watch it, ships, thousands of people on the ship, you only had 100 signatures. I'm thinking that's not a majority. And honestly, who takes time out of their cruise to go around bugging other cruise passengers with a petition saying, we want to watch this on the TV, and then tries to take it to the captain like the captains are going to go, oh, well, yeah, you have 100 signatures. Let's spend millions and millions of dollars for something that we don't get, because obviously the whole of America is watching. Number 4, are you aware that if you go outside in the sun, there is a chance you could get sunburn? Well, the reason I ask that is after reading this comment, I wonder, is that not common knowledge? BF and me just got back from our Freedom Ship cruise and had a horrible experience. We did the catamaran tour in Cozumel, which was run by Carnival. We were exposed to the sun. And after the tour, I went back to the ship and started feeling sick. For the next 2 days, I had a horrible stomach ache, chills, and probably a fever. I then started realizing that I was getting severe leg swelling to the point that I couldn't even walk without being in horrible pain. I had to spend the whole next day of the cruise lying in my bed with my legs propped up to help keep the swelling down. The sunburn really wasn't bad, and the side effects that made it unbearable. I find it very bad customer service, John, that I was charged for seeing the ship's doctor when this happened on a Carnival excursion. I have written an email asking now for a refund of the medical bill and a refund from our tour, but Carnival has been intractable. Okay, so you went on a shore excursion in Cozumel. You went on a catamaran, the boat. You were underneath the sun, and you start your comment off by saying, we were exposed to the sun. Did you not know that if you went outside, you would be exposed to sun? Did you not know that there's a chance you could get a sunburn if you go out in the sun? And then after getting your sunburn, you go down to medical and you're charged for going to see medical on board the ship. And now you're upset. You're upset because you took an excursion, you got some sunburn, you went to medical and got charged, and the cruise line will not refund your medical bill or give you a refund for the excursion. All I can honestly say about this one is, really? You didn't know that you would be exposed to the sun? That is almost as ridiculous as coming back from a snorkeling excursion and then going to guest services informing them you want your money back because you got wet. On to comment number 3. And for this one, well, we're going to remove things on board the cruise ship. We need to take a bar out. We need to take a swimming pool. We need to take something out of the cruise ship. You know what we need to replace it with? We need to replace it with a classroom so kids can go to school. I have a question for you and for the people at the top of Carnival Cruise Lines. My life partner and our 2 children were on the Panorama last week for a 7-day cruise. Why do you not do more to assist and to service the thousands of Carnival Cruise Line passengers who homeschool their children? There should be a classroom or a specific room on the boat for children to be able to study and do their assignments. Please do not say that there are places, because there are none that do not have either music blasting or permanent disruption of other passengers. There are 12 million children across the United States that are homeschooled. So you want to homeschool your children while on board the cruise ship. You want a private place, a quiet place that they can sit, they can study, they can do their assignments. You know what? There is one on every single cruise ship. There is the perfect space that you need. It is called, dun dun dun, your cabin. I'm just trying to think of the thought process. My God, there's music blasting. There's disruptive passengers. They're on a cruise ship. They're on their vacation. They just won't be quiet so we can study and do our schoolwork. Please take something off the ship. Please give us a dedicated classroom space, because there are thousands and thousands of Carnival passengers that want this. There are millions of homeschooled kids that are just waiting to cruise on Carnival as soon as they open up that classroom. We are almost there. 2 more comments to go. And for comment number 2, we're going to talk about kids on cruise ships. Now, if you get on a family-friendly cruise ship, are you really surprised that you see children? And if you don't like children, why did you get on a family-friendly cruise line to begin with? Okay, all, before I get flamed by your fans, let me state I do not care what your cheerleaders think. I am entitled to my opinion as a platinum cruiser. My wife and I were recently on the Magic, and upon embarkation, made our way to the Red Frog Pub, where we enjoyed an adult beverage and played foosball and shuffleboard. We decided that during the cruise we would try and spend more time there because we were having a great time. Well, every time after that, when we wanted to go in and play shuffleboard or darts, the place was overrun by families, and especially kids taking over and playing those games. My question is, why are kids allowed in a pub or any bar? Adults are not allowed in the children's camps, so why is this something Carnival allows? If not, then it's time for an adult ship. I would suggest the Magic is the perfect ship for this. Not everyone likes being around kids. Now this one starts off pretty good. I mean, they managed to get the word entitled and platinum all in the same sentence. And they go on to say, well, not everybody wants to be around kids. There should be an adults only cruise. I can't believe I went down there and I saw families. That's right, they saw families. A family on a family-friendly cruise line. Who would have thought? And again, they made it all the way to platinum and haven't realized that they may run into kids on board the cruise ship. Well, guess what? There are cruise lines out there where no kids are allowed. If you don't believe in families, you don't want to be around kids on board a family-friendly cruise line, then I would suggest you take your cruising somewhere else. And here we are, comment number 1. Of all the comments I looked at, this one here honestly just makes me laugh. And while I understand people are scared of things, I'm sorry if people are scared of things. I know they're phobias, I know they are real, but honestly, at the end of the day, this comment still just makes me laugh. I am shaking. Why is Carnival not telling people that when they book a cruise in October, that it will be Halloween the whole month? My partner and me booked the blank for October 8th. I need to know now if Carnival will protect me, plus all of the hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of Americans who have a morbid and real fear of people dressed as clowns. No clowns should be allowed. We should not have to be cruising with this on my mind. What will Carnival do to assure me? And if I cancel, will I get a refund? I'm sorry, I had to stop laughing there for just a minute. So, yep, if you go on a cruise in October, it's Halloween. People dress up, Carnival throws parties, there's deck parties. They really get into Halloween. Yes, there's a chance you could see a clown. I know people are scared of clowns, but I want you to picture this scenario. You're the customer service rep, the travel agent for Carnival Cruise Lines. A passenger calls you up and say, my God, I need to cancel my cruise. Okay, why do you need to cancel your cruise? I might see a clown. And I'm pretty sure if you call and say you want to cancel because you might see a clown, yeah, I don't think you're going to get a refund for that. Your best option is probably don't cruise during Halloween. If you don't like some people in costumes, don't cruise when they're going to wear costumes. Just like if you don't like Christmas trees, menorahs, Christmas carols, and all that goes along with the Christmas season, well, you probably don't want to cruise during December either. Because nope, they're not banning clowns, and nope, you're not getting a refund. And that's going to be our video this week for the best of what every cruiser wants, volume number 1. Do you remember these comments? Do you think these comments are still valid? Do they make you laugh? Do they make you cry? Or do you think some of these folks are just a couple sandwiches short of a full picnic? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day and a really great weekend. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas. Hey, Tiffany, don't forget to pack my blender and the Roomba.